Okay, welcome in, hockey fans. We're at the University of Denver. You can see I got the assistant coach, Tavis MacMillan, with me. Big weekend for you because you're not only getting back on the ice, but the alma mater's in town and a program that you have a lot of links to. Tavis, tell us a little bit about that.
No, it was played there for 4 years in the early 90s and stuck around and spent a long time coaching there. 7 as an assistant and 3 as the head coach. 3 as the head coach before moving on, and even Eric Largent, the head coach there, was one of my goalies when I was coaching there.
A lot of connections.
Yeah.
Nice to have them in Denver. I'm guessing New Year's Eve, New Year's Day matchup. What do you expect out of these guys?
You know what? We played them here a couple years ago, and they were tough games. Matter of fact, we had to come back late in one game to tie it, and if I remember correctly, late in the game to win it. So it was they were hard games. They play hard. They have a lot of European kids that aren't maybe familiar with us because we don't do a lot of recruiting in some Latvia and the parts that they do. So they're new players for us. It's a different conference. So there's some unknowns for us when we play them. But we get to watch video, and we know some of the kids that they have because of some connections with the North American League and seeing kids out here. But there's a lot of unknowns when you're playing a non-conference opponent, especially one that has a different recruiting base than you do.
So when you talk about that and teams down here that maybe don't get to see them as often, tell us about Alaska hockey. What's it like up there in Fairbanks?
Well, it's you know, I'm trying to think here, I think it was 17 years there. Yeah. And I used to work for Winnipeg, and the one thing I always learned from people in Winnipeg is people from Winnipeg are proud of Winnipeg. And
yes.
People that live in Alaska are proud of Alaska. And when you live there, there's a sense of pride in that you live there for a reason. You have choices to live where you want to live, and you choose to live in Alaska, and it's a great experience. It was an awesome experience. My kids are 5th generation Alaskans. So they were all born, my 3 daughters were all born in Alaska. They were raised in Alaska when they were young. So for them, it's home for them. My wife, it's where her family still lives. So the program obviously is bigger. For us, it's bigger than just a program.
Right.
My family has strong roots there, obviously. So it's a special place.
So there's got to be wildlife stories, moose in your backyard.
You know, the only wildlife stories I have is a big moose chased one of my daughters up a willow tree, and she was up there. And it's sitting there eating the willow branches, and my daughter's up in the tree. She's probably only at that time maybe 6, 7, 8 years old, and she's up in the. You'd be driving down the streets and there's moose in front of you. You're trying to get them out of the way, but they don't move. They just keep going. I remember hauling. We don't have sprinkler systems in ground up there. You just can't. So you got to move the sprinklers around with hose. And I was moving a hose, and I could hear heavy breathing behind me. And I lived up in the hills, so I lived up in the woods, and I didn't want to turn around. And I was just praying it was actually a moose and not a bear. And I turned around, it was a big moose, and I'm like. And I'm not moving, and I'm trying to judge how far my front door is to my house, and if I can beat this moose there. So I don't know if I forget, is the Caddyshack movie where he's trying to catch the gopher, and he's kind of moving slowly, and then he like takes off to try and jumping. That was me for the front door. I'm moving slowly, and I would dead sprint for the front door. But I don't have many other great wildlife stories.
Good one right there.
Yeah.
So, you know, we talked about the programs in Alaska. They've struggled, obviously, with their location and things like that, but they're coming back strong now. Yeah. Fairbanks is back strong. Anchorage is coming back strong. How important are they to college hockey in your mind?
Incredibly important. I think all of this college hockey is bigger than just one program. It's bigger than us. It's bigger, and I learned that from old coaches in the past, whether it was the Red Barringtons or the Ron Masons. Ron Mason was one of the best. It was all about the bigger picture for him, even though at that time he was coaching one of the best programs in the country, Michigan State. It was always about what's best for college hockey, and that's why we try and schedule, and I think I hope I don't speak out of turn here, but we're trying to schedule with Anchorage right now down the road. Like, we need to help these programs, whether it's Arizona State, just with us, especially Denver being in the western part of the states, it's important for us to schedule those programs so that we can at least give them a hand in building their schedules and building their programs. And we want them to survive. We want them to flourish and do well. We'd love to see another conference out west, and stuff. So we got to help them. We can't just obviously it'd be easy to schedule other programs, but it's important for us to schedule them and make sure that they have a competitive schedule.
All right, let's wrap things up by talking about this program. I've been talking about you guys since summertime. I've been telling people that don't sleep on the Pioneers because last year was not your year. I think this year might be your year.
No,
you have a lot of talent. Tell us about going forward starting this weekend.
No, we knew right from day one that we'd have a lot of skill and talent on this team, and we liked it. It was just how long would it take us to mesh and all these young guys to come along. And the good news is we were able to have a balance of these infusion of young talent with this older collection of players that when you add even just say, not just the returning guys that we had, but you add a Cam Wright to your lineup, and then you have the emergence of, say, Kyle Mayhew and what he's been able to do this year as a senior defenseman, and paired with Barons, and then getting some pretty good players back, and Savoy, Gutman, and Brink on that line, and the influx of these young guys and the contributions of the Barrows and the Stapleys. I mean, we had the pieces there, and it was just a matter of them coming together, and it's been good. It's been really good, and we're excited going forward. They're a very confident group. I think that's what I see. There's a little bit of, even for their youth, there's a little bit of swagger to them, and it's not a cocky arrogance, it's just a confidence. And they know that what they can do, and they're not afraid to show it. They're not afraid to showcase it. And sometimes we joke as coaches is we can do more damage by coaching it out of them, and saying sometimes you just got to let, skilled kids play. You got to let them play in certain circumstances and give them the structure and the foundation, let them go.
I've seen a lot of hockey for a long time, and this might be one of the deepest groups that I've seen put together, and I think you're 100% right. I think the longer the season goes, the better you're going to get. Knock on wood that you stay healthy, but would you agree with me, your depth, your third and fourth lines can do a lot of damage to teams?
I just started thinking about watching like the Webster, Capone, King line and what they can do and how they play, and that's our fourth line, right? And and we got some kids chomping at the bit to get in the lineup who are really good players. Like you look at Owen Ozar and Jack Works and these other guys that are trying to get in our lineup, and we got Brett Edwards out. Like we got some guys that are really good players that we're trying to find, but guys are playing well, and it's competitive. It's really competitive, and then you got the other lines all scoring as well.
Tavis, I appreciate your time. Good luck this weekend, and good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, thank you very much.